I have no idea how much was lost. Carla is here to help me make sure I'm not missing much of what I'm trying to communicate. But if the feed is dropped, I was sharing about our experience with the dealership, so I don't want to repeat it. So if I miss it, I was just kind of sharing the access you have to us as an owner and a principal. So I'm going to go on to, we will be doing this Speed Live Q&A at the end. I just want to show you some of the updates of our car. Robbie's posted a lot of these pictures. A lot of these are just screen grabs from Robbie's Instagram. But these are the production cars that we have test fitted all the new parts, making sure doors open and close, you see accessories mounted, making sure wiring harnesses all work. These are the next, I forget how many cars we've actually done this to, run them down the assembly line, make sure everything is actually working off the assembly line as supposed to be. I mean, you just think about the misalignments and shocks. If they're off by 200 thousandths, the shocks will have slop. So everything we're doing, from spring rates to clutching to all the different pieces in the car, that's what Robbie's out there doing. We've had to build cars overseas just to make sure parts are integrating properly. You know, at the end of the day, to go back and forth, I think you know Robbie spent 3 weeks in quarantine. We don't have the time to travel back and forth, so we decided to do everything there. Any additional testing, like we have 35s that we'll show you here later. Rob's going to go out in the desert and test 35, so we can have 35-inch tires available when you take delivery. Obviously, they can't come standard on the car due to EPA carb regulations, but we'll have those tires available, paddle tires, all different things, but we got to work on clutching if we're going to 35. So Rob's going to get to go to the desert. Hopefully, you'll get to see the car at speed with some of the with 35s on it. I know it's been a lot of questions for you guys in the past, but that's what you're getting to see us do. A lot of people have asked us about the winch. Robbie also showed on it. There's the lead fairing and the grill. Winch is mounted, so for the people who have ordered winches, who haven't seen it, all the bracketry, all the ways it integrates, there's pictures of the winch. Production bulkheads I want to show again, just because everywhere I go, that's the most impressive piece visually, the shocks and the bulkhead to our customers. So just give you a little bit of the stuff that we've been sharing socially. If you haven't had the chance to really look at what we've done with the front bulkhead, the ring and pinions, the barrel shifters, the barrel for the transmissions, all the different things we have, all the motor components, water pumps, all the dry sump oil tanks, all the different components that go into this car. We try to take every single one of them apart, make sure everything is proper and goes back together properly. To the point we actually ran a full production motor again and just had the guys tear it apart and see how much wear it had after it's been running, I forget how many hours and miles straight, just to make sure all the different pieces we have on these cars is happening properly. Just to show you some neat things that you probably haven't really got to see, but you know, here's the production engine, fuel rail. You know, no one gets to see this. If you look back in the day at some of the issues that the OEs have had with fuel rails being plastic and cracking due to chassis flex, we've tried to circumvent as many things as we can do. Our turbo housing, if you actually haven't seen the full production one yet, if you haven't got to see the car in person, you know, the turbo mounts right to that. I mean, it's just pretty amazing some of the stuff we've done to make our product quite a bit different than our competitors, increase performance, the reason we can get to the horsepower we have. I get asked on social media, and we get hit on it a bunch. Why are we doing these dealer visits? Why keep promoting the vehicle if it hasn't shipped yet? And I think people aren't understanding why we're really out there. You know, think about the amount of dealers who ordered cars that have never seen it. Think about the amount of customers that didn't make it to Sandsport Show who have never seen the car before they ordered. Remember, we have, I think the number is close to 4,000 to consumer, 12,000 to dealer. So 16,000 cars sold, all from PowerPoint presentations, right? I mean, Sandsport Super Show was massive, a couple thousand people there, but they weren't all customers. So going around and letting the customers see the car, sit in the car, that's giving back to the people who believed in us. And let me tell you, me, Connor, Mike Rebello, being on the road for 3 months, visiting dealers, it isn't because it's the one thing we want to do in the summer. It's what has to be done to thank our customers for what they've done. And getting out, and yes, it's a pre-production car, but it has many of the updates. And I think it shows well with a car with 1,000 miles on it that we can take it around and still looks and feels brand new for a car that's been through the desert. I know I raced with my daughter at Nora 1000, I think 6-7 years ago. If we were on our 16th birthday, we raced Nora and raced it in a Polaris 4-seater. 1,300 miles later, I got back and I put it up for sale. And that was with a 16-year-old girl driving the whole way. Compliment my daughter Cicely. She was able to win every stage and win the race in her UTV. But that car was not, to me, something I wanted to hang on to when you get into that many miles. And granted, racing is harder miles, but the miles we put on these cars are harder than anything we could ever do in racing. So going out to the dealers, this was Karl Malone. This was Edge Power Sports. Edge has an incredible following, and a lot of their customers had pre-ordered directly from Edge, so they all showed up to sit in the car, figure out if they had to make any changes. Our staff is there to accommodate Edge Power Sports, the Young Power Sports Group, all the different dealers that we're getting to see here in Utah. It allowed the consumer to make sure what they were getting was right, and that's why we're out doing it. We don't need to sell any more cars. 16,000 cars we get to deliver in the next 12 months. That's a ton of cars. Not really worried about selling cars as much as making sure the customer is getting what they expected. Something that has been asked a ton, I was hesitant to release this, but as I traveled to the dealers, as I met with customers, these items were a very big, when can I get it? Belt tip sensors, front and back cameras, tire pressure, and our tire pressure sensors, they also integrate as heat temp. So you know that you're at 18 PSI and 100 degrees, and as the degrees go up, you'll know your temp's going up. So you get to manage both because heat affects the tire. Remember, your tire is a suspension. So the more PSI it's getting because it's growing, it's because of heat, and sometimes you can change your driving style to accommodate to cool those tires off. We also did something really neat, and a lot of people have asked us about street legal kits and what can we do, and as a manufacturer we can't sell a street legal kit. I think you're all aware that our car is one of the first cars to have hazards. Our intention of the hazard signals was if you were ever broken in a wash, you could turn your hazards on and let people know that you were broken, or you're on the side of the road. We thought it was a safety thing. Our cars have the ability to have a rear chase bar installed, and with that rear chase bar, you now can directly wire with this roof harness. You can wire to the chase bar, and that will bring your tail lights, your brake lights, so your running lights, your brake lights, and your hazards up to your chase bar. And it also gives you more dome lights. And then we have been testing a new mirror. This is not out yet, but it will one day be available. That, I don't know if you have some of the new automobiles, that your mirror has lights on it that shine down. So we're trying to we've already incorporated the power in the harness, so that as we upgrade options, that if we do have a lit mirror option, that it will drive power to the mirror as well. These are the different costs. If we were to break it out, we are not breaking out these kits, and here's the reason. We have to turn on the dash to accept all this. It takes a whole nother level of programming. So if you don't get these kits installed from us ahead of time, the dash is not turned on. You're going to later have to go back to the dealer and have them turn the dash on. So if you decide later to buy these individually, you'll have to go to the dealership and have them turn on each accessory. And obviously there's a service charge or labor charge, because you can't turn on the feature in the CAN bus system of your dash by yourself. You don't have access to those controls. So if these are critical pieces, belt tip sensors, tire sensors, front and rear cameras, if those are critical items that you believe need to be in your car, there is I believe unfortunately today it's like on the last page, because I just added it, there is a bundle button. Please go online and order that, and it will come with your car. If you do not order today, eventually these will be accessories that are available, but again, you'll have to go to your local dealer, and whatever their service rate to install them, the features are, and the products will then be part of an additional cost. So hopefully this value and savings is worth it to you. We appreciate the people who've waited for us to validate these products, but they are done and they are available. So our sales team has been going out forever and asking you to complete your vehicle. We've done this for a multitude of reasons. There's only so long we can hold on to our accessory price cost. Inflation's hit everybody. So we unfortunately are going to have a price increase on accessories. Everybody who has ordered, that pricing is not changing. If you haven't ordered, your accessories, or there's more accessories you need to get ordered, please get it done before the 15th of July. Because as of the 15th of July, all accessories are on average going up 15%, some even more. So if you have not completed your sales order, please get with your sales rep. We're going to send an email out as well that's to all our customers to say if you haven't, price is going to go up. But if price goes up and you haven't configured your car, the new price is what will be your accessories will be at. So please keep an eye on that date, and please contact your sales reps with any questions. That leads to, which I think a lot of people are gonna, who have pre-ordered will be rather excited about, we continue to have an increase in vehicle costs that isn't passed down to the consumer. And I'll share with you a couple things I learned traveling and visiting dealers. And if you today, and the business model today, unfortunately, is order and wait. I don't care if it's us, Polaris, Can-Am, Ford, Chevy, you name it. Everyone is waiting for their car. There is no specific date. I mean, I would love to tell you I can order a new Ford Bronco today, but there's no idea. I can go put my deposit down, but there's no calendar when I'm going to get it. It could be 2 years from now. In power sports, the same thing's happening, but it's worse. As the clock ticks, if you put a deposit down today, you're not guaranteed what the car is going to cost. You're just guaranteed a spot in line. So for a lot of customers out there who've ordered competitive cars, a couple things have happened. When it shows up at the dealership, they thought they were getting it for, let's call it $30,000, but by the time it got there a year later, it's now $33,000, and they are obligated to pay the price if they want to get it. A lot of times there's added dealer margin that's added to the cars. That's dealer discretion. That increases cost of the car. And sometimes the car arrives, you receive it, and it sits there with a sign on it, sold, but there's no ECUs for it. So if you look at our business model, we continue to increase price on the car, but we don't pass that increase on to you. We're trying to make sure the car is perfect when you receive it, as opposed to having cars that are incomplete or have stop sales. And that's what we're doing to make sure our business model is perfect for you. So the vehicle price is going up. I'm working on it with our team. Obviously, all of you who are listening today probably have a car with us, so it's not as big a concern, but it adds value. I had a customer, I wish I could pull it up on Facebook, who commented, hey, why can't you just ship the car? You've been playing with everybody's money for years. And guys, if you think what we're doing is playing, I think that's a comment that doesn't really isn't really a true statement. I don't think my business partner and longtime friend spending 6 weeks overseas traveling is playing, working 18 hours a day. Our staff working 18 hours a day. We're doing this because we believe in the product and we believe in being a pioneer in this industry. So you can play with money, and this is what I responded to the customer on the internet. You can play with money by investing in Wall Street. Wall Street goes up and down. You're never guaranteed a return. You can play with money by investing in crypto, and crypto is in a very precarious position right now. You can buy bonds. You can do anything you want with your money. And granted, this is a toy. It's not an investment, but there are no guarantees. And the one thing we try to guarantee is perfection. And I think if you've seen what we've done, it's the case. And we were trying to guarantee that because we can't afford this to happen. You know, this just happened today, July 21st, another stop sale. You know, when you're a big company, like a lot of our competitors, stop sales are part of it, unfortunately, because cars come to market or assembly line issues or manufacturing quality control issues. All those things can be part of your business model. When you accrue for stop sales, you're just saying, I know it's going to happen. We're gonna accrue money for it, and as it happens, it comes out of our operating budget. This sign and the government telling us we built something unsafe or not right, and there's so many that it has to stop the ability for people to ride. I mean, this is a stop ride. That's something we have made a decision as a business cannot happen with our business. So people are going to break their car. People are going to have issues with their car. I can't prevent that. You get a car going in the dirt, you know, it's not going down the highway, the desert, and that's why we have these dealers. You know, I can't imagine having an off-road car. I know I've been racing my whole life, and I've partnered with some great people to manage the maintenance of my vehicle, but they're not in Utah. They were in Vegas, they were in Southern California. I can't imagine having a car in the desert that gets played with and beat on, and that you don't have a local place to service it. That's why we have our dealers. We appreciate the direct-to-consumer that helped us get going, but our dealer model is very strong. Our dealers are committed to this and very excited about it. And if you talk to the service techs, they're in awe with the serviceability of the product. They've never seen anything like it. So if you haven't got to see the car, it's even more amazing that the techs that are seeing it at our dealerships are in awe with what we're bringing to market. I want to go through the changes in industry. It's interesting. Rob is a very passionate guy about the technology we bring to market. He's very excited about what he gets to build and design and take 30 years of racing and bring it into the industry. Intellectual property that we've never shared that separates our product. I get the task of being involved in that and with our engineers and everything, but then I get the second piece of understanding our economy, our business, running the operations of how we logistically plan for warranty and banking and consumer financing, all the different pieces of operations, shipping cars to consumers and dealers. And it's a very challenging piece to create this big business, and then to realize, as I pointed out here, is that business is changing. I came from the mountain bike industry, and when e-bikes came out, e-bikes went to power sports dealerships because it fit. And then one of the biggest brands, and I used to race for them, Specialized, told their dealers certain high-end bikes are all being sold online, and we'll just give you an assembly fee. And that stemmed to companies like Ford saying, we're going to have an online business. I know all these dealers are around, and they're going to be support centers and delivery centers, but we're moving online. And then they followed. I mean, all these e-cars, because the amount of money that had to be accrued for discounting in the fall. You remember, like, if you wanted to buy a car, buy it in the fall because they were rebating the overproduction. Back in the day, there was 100 Chevy trucks in a lot at your local dealership in the fall, and they had $7,500 to $12,000 rebates. Well, the dealer doesn't pay that rebate. The automotive manufacturer was paying that rebate. So due to COVID and the unavailability, the dealers and the manufacturers learned a whole new lesson that you can actually pre-sell cars, build what is ordered, and create a market where you can give a better price value because you don't have to burden your car with discounting and rebates and advertising and free warranty to lure someone to buy your car versus someone else's. What you can do is sell the car on its merit. And that's something we've done here. This is what our car does. We don't play around with any of the pricing. There's no incentives to buy our car besides it's the car you want. And I think you're going to see the industry evolve to this: order what you believe is right, wait for it, and then find out that you ordered the right thing. And sometimes that doesn't work out. I feel bad for some of the people who have stopped sales on automotive vehicles right now as well, and that's just the reality of racing the market. Sometimes there's mistakes. As you can see, we haven't raced. We race on the weekends, but we haven't raced to market. More dealer visits. We are heading to Colorado after the 4th of July. We'll be I'll step out of the way, but this is our outline of the Colorado dealerships: Borderline, Colorado Springs, Sun Power Sports, All Terrain, Power Sports, and on the way back in Utah, you're going to see Jared up at Big Pine Sports. We did not catch that Utah dealership on the way up to 15 due to time constraints, but since it's so close to coming back from our Denver trips, we will be getting that. From there, we're going up to Idaho. So if you're an Idaho customer, we'll be announcing that. I believe then we're going over to Washington and then down to Oregon, and then August 3rd weekend, I believe, is an Oregon Dune Fest weekend, and we will be there on display. We'll be in the kicker booth. So if you are on Facebook, I'm going to switch out of the slide, and I'm going to go to Facebook and see if I can answer any questions. So give me a second, because you got to pull up all the different skill sets that I don't always possess. Make sure the mute's on. So somehow in here, I want to figure out how to get to this screen so I can see your questions. And maybe if Carla is listening, amazing wife that I have, maybe she can come over here and just read off those questions to me, because I don't know if I'm going to do this well. Oh, there's the comments. Got them. So feel free to type away. I'm going to read them as they come up. As far as getting finances, when the VIN number is available, and when will KB&B NADA show these values? So interesting enough, we have partnered. What's that, Carla?
There's two in the chair.
So I don't know what she was saying. So the answer to this: we have partnered with Freedom Road Financial. Freedom Road Financial did not require NADA, and they didn't, and they will be doing all of the financing going forward. So if you haven't read that on our Facebook or on any of our presentations before, right now the only person that has signed up to finance our product is Freedom Road Financial. That's a major player in power sports. They do all the OEs, and they believed in us, 18 months ago to be able to finance our cars. The interest rates are at the dealerships. If I need to, I can post them for you. But that is where it's going. Jim Beck, how are you? Yes, Kurt, the winch is up. So I think we showed that earlier. We can put more pictures up later. Mike, you asked if the 14-spoke wheels made. The 14-spoke wheels made yet? All our components have been made. Robbie has been building an RG wheel for 20 years. There's a really good friend of ours who made the BTR wheel, which stood for Better Than Robbie. So that wheel's been around a lot. It's a signature for our brand. So most of the marketing you're going to see is going to be with the RG wheel. But all of our wheels, all of our products to be able to bring this car to market have been through the testing and validation process. That's 14. Kurt, though I don't want or need that Euro streetcar stuff, okay? So for people who signed the buyer's order, this goes to Kurt Michael. For people who signed the buyer's order, can you still get the bundle? Yes, you can. You do not necessarily need to contact your rep. You can go right online. It is on right now on page 8. It just shows that bundle picture. But please take the time if you want it. Our system has the ability to automatically update your buyer's order. So that is the one exception we have to allow the people who have signed them to still get that product. So yes, you can get online and get it done. Jason Starr, $399 for belt temp sensor. If you look at belt temp sensors anywhere else, they're $350. Obviously, they have to integrate with our dash. It's a separate type of cable. It's CAN bus. You're not just putting another random display up. You can go buy a Razorback for $50 less. They make a great product. We used them in testing. But to integrate it to our dash, that's where we are. They were supposed to be included, but we made decisions as we've built a better car that there's certain things we can include and not include. And unfortunately, these are the items that we are making accessories at this time, as opposed to making them automatically part of the car. Tom, when are we going to North Carolina? We live there in Charlotte. Well, I don't live there in Charlotte, but we are in Charlotte. When Robbie gets back from when he gets back from overseas, there might be an opportunity to go see the cars in Charlotte. Unfortunately, our priority is getting cars to market, and growing our dealer base east is going to take some time. But if we need to later, schedule a tour of the vehicles in Charlotte. Give us till the fall, and we'll be able to make that happen. Kurt, when are we coming to Carson City? I believe Carson City will be after August 5th weekend, after Dune Fest. We start heading south. We're going to start doing NorCal after that. So part of doing Northern California, we'll scoop over and get Carson City. The guys at Carson City, if you know Maya and all the guys there, we were there last year. But it was an early pre-production car that I think it was just a carbon fiber body car. We actually took it to the Hangtown race. So we'll be there. I gotta make sure I keep this up. But you'll get a notification when we do that. Tire sensors only be in dirt cars. Can you add sand tires? Yes. You'll have to buy more sensors. That won't be part of this bundle. It will come later. But if you already have it turned on in the dash, and that's what this bundle does, any sensor you do later, there's a program that matches your new sensor. So like a spare tire. If your fifth spare tire, when you put it on, you have to program it so the car knows it's left front. You just can't put a car on. So there is a way to mate the tire to its location. That will come as a instruction to the product device, but until the dash is turned on to have them activated, it doesn't matter what sensor you have, you'd have to have a separate dash. So once we have that, we'll be able to sell sensors for spare tires and paddle tire sensors. Right now, we're just trying to get the dashes turned on for people. It is a significant expense for us to activate the dashes, and to do it after the fact is probably not worth it for most people, because the rate per hour, I think dealers are now 125 an hour, and I can tell you this is not a quick piece. To put a tire sensor in a car, the beadlock has to come off. So you have to take all the tires off the car. You have to take all the beadlocks off, because it's a special valve stem, because the valve stem has to be short, otherwise it hits the brake rotor. I don't know if you've seen our tires in the past, but the valve stem's a really tiny valve stem to clear the rotor. And you can never put a sensor on the valve stem, some of the less expensive Bluetooth sensors you can run on automobiles, because that increases the valve stem height. So for us, since you have to take the whole wheel apart, and you're de-beading and pulling off the beadlock face to install it, so then program the dash, it might be 7-8 hours of labor to put them in after the fact. That's why we're trying to get as many done ahead of time than later. Let me see, I'm trying not to miss anybody's questions. Vehicles be 2023, Dana, Randy. So Randy, we've been producing all the parts. Mass production has already started, and all we're doing is making sure the product that's produced is worth bolting on the car. But that's just a quality control. So that's why we feel comfortable announcing the Sand Sports Super Show time frame. Are we coming to Boise? Yes, Devin. I'm a really good friend of mine is Jack Struthers. I've known Jack for probably 20 years, and that's Carl's Cycle Center. So Jack doesn't know I'm coming there yet, but I am coming up to Boise to meet with a dear old friend and talk to him about Speed UTV. I'm giving Jack the first right of refusal on our vehicle, and then we'll move on from there. But he's been a dear friend and a great snowmobile buddy of mine. Bell temp senses. Will Bandits be produced this year as well? I said all 3,500 cars or 4,000 cars that have been pre-ordered, our goal is to give everyone their car before the end of the year. So if your car, master number 3,500, and it's a Bandit or an El Diablo or a 4-seater, we're trying to get everybody their cars, and that's the current forecast to get it done. Josh has asked what paddle tires. We have 2 sets of paddle tires on our website. Guys, I gotta get a quick drink, bro. Hang on a sec. Sorry, I had to get a little iced coffee. We have 2 sets of paddle tires on our website, and I'll share with you my opinion of both. If I did not have a 4-wheel drive and I did not have over 200 horsepower, I'd probably want a little more traction in the rear, just to help me. I mean, if you look at some of the stuff we've done in the past, just think about all the cars in Dakar that race in the 2-wheel drive class, and they use tire inflation to get up and down all those massive sand dunes. But they also have horsepower, right? And they're navigating as much as they can with 2-wheel drive, horsepower, tire deflation. That's all. Everything Robbie's ever raced there was air inflation, 2-wheel drive, high travel, high horsepower cars, or limited horsepower. Yeah. So if you could stay down here, that'd be great. My phone keeps timing out because I've been doing this so long today. But we're talking about paddle tires. So I believe that I would want a tire that gave me less traction, similar flotation, but allowed the car to drive as it did as a desert car. The ability to rotate a car, not have the front end want to push. The more bite you have in the rear, the more the car is going to want to push. So you're going to be very conscious of the bigger paddles in the rear. We have a great package from KMC that is a wide paddle tire for the guys that are concerned with traction. They are concerned with getting stuck, but I would tell you my driving skill set, and I think a lot of our customers that are getting these cars, the PLW 10s, which is a speed wheel and tire package, is what I've chosen to go with. It's what we've tested with. We've tested with both, but my preference is I like rotating the car with its horsepower, creating oversteer. The big wide tires, that makes it pretty difficult. Our car isn't a wheelie machine. I don't care how much paddle you put back there. It's a big car. Big cars need even more horsepower. If you want to win a drag race up the hill, I'd highly recommend a YXZ. They weigh about 1,200 pounds and you make 400 horsepower out of that motor. There's a lot of guys here in Utah that know how to build it, but that's not the car we built. We built, a very big, robust, powerful car that's incredibly safe, incredibly fast, but we're not there to go win the hill race. Not that someone might not figure out how to do it in our car, but we haven't. Our goal was performance, reliability, and safety. let's see, Sean, can we just purchase front rear cameras? At this time, Sean, because we have to activate the dash, I can't just do a camera package. Everything, I wish I could, and I will tell you down the road you'll be able to, but on all these cars coming to market this Q4 of, or whatever, this last part of the year, everything has to be opened up in the dash, and we haven't figured out a way to do it any other way yet. So I can't just do, I can't break up that bundle because it's that much work for us to do. So the cars are coming with everything, or they'll just still be, the dash will later have to be unlocked and you'll be able to go to the dealer and buy them separately. Kurt, thanks, appreciate the props. So Mason, I don't know where we are with coming out with a wider rear wheel. We'll see what happens, what kind of demand happens, and if we ever need to do that. The wheel we have is plenty good for like a 12-inch wheel, I believe is the max we can run on it wide. So I'll see how that comes out. I appreciate the loyalty on our product. I just don't know if that is going to happen. Let's see. What are the temps with windshield going to be like out of Glamis? Are we going to have to worry about dropping the hammer? Me personally, if you're running a windshield in Glamis, it's probably cold out. It's probably a night rod, and there's no issues with that. I think Robbie said anything up to like 85 degrees, the windshield's fine, especially because we have the positive airflow roof. The car starts detuning itself if it gets hot, which is also a way to protect you, but that's to be seen. If you're going to keep your windshield on when it's 95 out and you're going to run smoker run with your buddies, I would tell you take the windshield off. That's going to be a little bit too hot. Let's see what else I got. John, you want to know I'm coming to the East Coast? I would tell you not till, me personally, maybe I would say we're not going to be out there till after the new year with all that we have going on with travel and delivery schedules, unless we're delivering. I mean, we have Texas dealers, we have Kansas City dealers, we have dealers. We'll be visiting all those dealers. But if you're saying like New England, where I grew up in Rhode Island, I don't know if that's going to happen anytime soon just because we don't have the dealer base there. But where there are dealers with Speed UTV, we will be at every dealer. That's just part of what we do. We'll be doing dealer visits to everybody. I don't know what that means, Jason. So I missed Carl Sykes. I missed you. I was on vacation. So Carl, you missed us when we were in Arizona. Unfortunately, we are not going back. By the time we finish this dealer tour, we should be going right into Sandsport show. So we will be in Colorado, Oregon, Washington, Idaho, NorCal, and Nevada, Northern Nevada will be where we finish this last tour. I think actually Helena, Montana as well. I think that's the pattern. So I don't see us going back to Arizona until the dealers have cars. Yeah, Barbara, if you buy the belt temp sensor, all accessories installed, belt temp, cameras, and Bluetooth tires are all installed. It's just a package. You have to acquire all of them to make that happen. When can we see samples of fade wrap colors? Andrew, I'm not quite sure. You feel free to ask me another question. I don't know what that means, fade wrap colors. If you're asking me when are you going to see images of cars that have been out in the sun that have been faded, I don't know if that's what you're asking, but I don't have anything that have faded. The product we have right now, as you've seen with all the cars we've had, have been doing really good, and they've been out in the sun for 2 years.
Todd, we have 3 wraps where the colors fade.
Oh.
From orange to like red.
I just was advised we have wraps that transition from orange to red as our faded colors. Those you probably see installed on the customer's cars. I don't know if I will have printed one unless we're printing it for a customer. Cars are being produced, oh, sorry about that. Drake, are cars being produced in batches or by master numbers individually? I think I said that earlier. We are working at all the time frame of how cars are going to be produced. We're definitely producing 4-seaters first. That's what the assembly line set up for. How many are produced before we change the line? We're still evaluating. Excuse me. So I don't have that answer today. I hopefully, if we do a show every 2 weeks right now, or even if we do one next week, maybe Robbie hops back on and does another one. Hopefully then I can share with you what the forecast by master number is going to be. but this time I don't quite know that. Shay Small, do we know what the final numbers yet on the Heavy? I believe in its delivered form, not with accessories, I believe it's scaled at just under 24. So I'd have to double check that. But remember, our car comes with a real cage, box suspension, 3.5 shocks. We are going to be heavier than our competitors, but if you compare that to some of the new cars like the new Polaris and stuff, we are in the exact same or lighter weight class, but with more horsepower. Will the Master, Rob Arm, will the Master 1585 LBL be in the first batch of orders? Rob, I still got to answer that. First, an El Diablo wouldn't be because the first cars being built are El Jefes. But after that, if you're 1585, I would guess you'd be in the first batch of El Diablos because a 1585 number is probably in the first 400 to 500, if not less, El Diablos. Is Drake Fisher, is there manufacturing lines dedicated to each type of car? No, it's the same line. You know what's neat about our car? It doesn't change much. You know, the difference between a four-seater and a Bandit is we get rid of two seats, we change the bottom chassis rail, and we get rid of one section of the cage, and it's the same car. The El Diablo is a different car. The El Diablo has kind of a quarter panel and a different rear fender and a different cargo box, but again, they still are using 95% of the same parts, which makes manufacturing for us a lot easier and changing the line. But building all those different bill of assemblies is what is the challenge when you have the assemblies ready. So if you have different cages, different lower chassis, that has to change. The components are very similar. If we have a second dash, will both be turned on? Yes. So there's another piece. I didn't even think about that. If you have a second dash today, everything will Bluetooth to it if you order the bundle. If you order a second dash later, the dash won't be opened. You'll have to still go to the dealer on the second dash, if that's what you want, and have them program it to open it up and have them program it to match the configuration of your, let's call it your wireless sensors, your wheels, your belt temp, and your cameras. So instantly turned on from the factory, but if you buy a dash later, then it will still have to go to the dealer and have it opened up. And that was from Jennifer. Yep, Jennifer, I think I just answered that. Shay Small, thanks. Yeah, Speed Christmas. I hope it's more like a Speed Halloween, and then we just dribble some out at the end. Guys, these are all dates that we are trying to pull forward. We've pushed dates out for since September now, or for a lot of people even longer than that. So I'm doing everything I can to bring the dates forward. We'll share with you if there's anything that changes that, but I'd rather have 3,500, 4,000 cars done before Christmas. Because if not, I'm working Christmas, and that's a great time to go skiing with my family. But I promise you, if we haven't delivered cars, we'll all be making sure you get your cars before then. Rick Vance in closed cab. I have tabled that. It's done. As far as the drawings, we've tabled all tooling until these cars are out. We had to make a point where engineering was done and focus on the product at hand, which was all the customer cars. The team has designed it all, but actually with some of the changes we've had to make over the last year, the drawings have to be modified a tad bit, and then we still have to do a ton of testing on cooling. Based on our pricing going up again, I've advised anybody who's ordered an enclosed cab, change it to a non-enclosed cab, enjoy it. You'll be able to drive it for a year, get right back in line on a four-seater enclosed cab, and you won't lose any money. So the cost of these cars are going up considerably, and if you have an early number car, you're at least $15,000 ahead of anyone else, because early number came with Speed Key. I mean, I know some customers who have including dealers, continue to buy cars that come up for sale. I've had one customer pay for his whole car by buying cars that are for sale and then reselling them again and profiting. We're not in the business of profiting. We help you get rid of your car if there's a reason you need to get rid of it. But there's a lot of people out there profiting. So when you see all these posts, car for sale, those are a lot of people benefiting from us increasing price. A lot of people got in. I'll tell you a funny story. I had a buddy buy GT3 RS, and he bought someone's position for $50,000. And then, so that was just to get in line. And then when he bought the car, the dealer marked it up another $50,000. So his GT3 RS was $100,000 over MSRP because of the dealer and the position he had to pay for. We don't do any of that. And it's a testament to us trying to make sure our customers are always taken care of. Dealers get cars. I answered this already, Brandon. If the dealers are part of the 3,500, they will definitely get their cars in the order of their master numbers. There aren't many of them, but there are the significant ones that have ordered. And if you have ordered from a dealer, you know your master number at that dealer. Let's see what else I got. Belt temp gauge. I think I answered that, Howard. Andrew, yeah, I think I just answered that back for you, Andrew, about the graphics. Can camera footage be downloaded? Sean, I don't know that answer. I gotta believe it can be because it's just not a live stream. It does have, I believe it does have a record. I will look into that, Sean, and get you an answer. Mike, I can tell you the cutoff date for the bundle. If the cars are starting to be built here in the next 3 weeks, final assembly starts. That's where we are, 2-3 weeks. I would not wait long because you're already past manufacturing. When we start designing enclosed cars, I think I just answered that, Pablo. And Jennifer, I answered the second dash will integrate perfectly. If I don't know how to say that. Is it Xerox? I apologize if I get the name wrong. If we opt to pick up the car in Havasu, will that allow us to get the car faster? Absolutely. We appreciate it as well. I can't tell you, I had a guy who gave me grief the other day, why isn't the Havasu building done? Every time me and Rob do something, we get pros and cons for what we've done. So during King of the Hammers, I have an amazing IFS Ultra 4. And honestly, I think the El Diablo with 35s for my skill set will rock crawl just as good, if not better, than my Ultra 4. It's because I don't do anything where I think I'm going to roll over backwards. And the El Diablo, for what we've seen, is spectacular. So I was like, well, it's King of the Hammers. Maybe I'll sell my Ultra 4. And as soon as I put my Ultra 4 up, everyone's like, oh, Speed UTV guys are broke. They're selling all their race cars. Guys, I have a garage full of race cars. That wasn't the issue. I just sat there thinking it was the right time. So I actually didn't sell it. I came back from King of the Hammers. I prepped it. And it sits in my garage. It's a spectacular car. Robbie put a boat up for sale. And everyone's like, oh, Robbie's broke. He doesn't have any money. Well, that boat has been sitting there for 15 years in our garage and collecting dust. So we had to change what we did. And we thought if we focused on the tenant improvements required in Havasu, people would say, hey, they're spending all their money and their time on Havasu, they're not focused on the car. So we have prepped that building to get it ready. We've pulled all our permits, and after key people get their cars, we'll turn it into a dealership. But during that process, we will be open to deliver cars there and hopefully show you guys one heck of a 2 or 3 day experience of receiving your car, interacting with Robbie and I, going out on rides, and we're trying to make it amazing. I will tell you, September, it's hot in Havasu, so maybe the people who take delivery at Sand Sports, the next group in October, that would see cars right after Sand Sports, maybe you want to take delivery in Havasu, just because the temps will be better. We can go out on the water, and we can go out in the desert, but we need the temps to come down to really enjoy it. I said Xeric's name perfectly. Thank you. Josh, we are going to deliver in Anaheim. We are going to deliver anywhere we can to facilitate the customer, the dealer, and ourselves to get cars out as fast as possible. You will have options. You'll have options on where you can pick it up, and that will have a time frame with it. So, I'll give you a perfect example. I need to load a truck with 10 customer cars to get up to Oregon. I don't know, that might take me an extra 10 days, and people say, I'll wait for it. Or you could say, I'm just going to pick it up at Havasu this weekend, and I'm going to come down and get it because I want to enjoy that experience. Or I'm going to pick it up at a different dealer who's having cars sooner just because of the way the trucks are going. So bear with me on that. As we know the dates, you'll have options. But that's truly where we're going to be on deliveries. Speaking of 35s, when they'll be available, they'll be available at pickup. I haven't put them up here for sale yet. I need to figure out how many we can actually have manufactured, shipped, and available. I don't want to sell somebody something that isn't available at pickup. So when I know I have 1,000 tires that will be there for sand sports. I'll put it up on the internet. There'll be a quantity available, and once that quantity is out, those people who ordered them will be able to get them. We just don't know yet. I don't know how many people are going to want 35s, and I don't want to get stuck with a warehouse of 35s. So we'll play that by ear. And Josh, safety hand restraints. I believe so. I need to talk to Robbie about that. I don't know if I know those are something. God, I got to tell you, if you haven't ordered our window nets, the window nets are absolutely a work of art. The gas shocks on an opening and closing. We are a big proponent of safety. If you look at our Cam Link 5, our cam system for our 5-point harness, if you look at what we do with window nets and cages, trying to make it as safe as possible. I will revisit that with Rob to make sure this is in our deliverable. I just don't know what we've done on that on inventory. Have you talked to your guy who races with hand controls? I've talked to several people on hand controls. I haven't had time to facilitate getting them a car to install. We start taking deliveries here in the United States of components here shortly. Some of those cars will be for marketing for dealers to have on their showroom floor. It'll be a bunch of different things we have. One of them will be getting over to some of the hand control guys, and some actually for me, I'm working on snow tracks with different vendors to see what we can do there. So we'll have different things that keep happening. Part of our business is ongoing evolution, and I'll make sure anything we can do, we'll make sure we do. Any updates on the heaters for open cabs and the wiper washers for the windshield? So the wiper washers are done. I haven't got the final bill of materials on that to know what that's going to add. Luckily, that's a very easy install on the car, so that can be done after the fact because of the way it mounts. The windshield already has pre-drilled holes, templated holes that you could quickly pre-drill. I think it's a 1-inch hole, and the wiper goes right under it and mounts straight to a tube on the chassis. So very simple install for post receipt of product. Heater, I don't believe that is finished yet, but like we said before, it's just passing through a heat exchange and blowing air from that heat exchange. So it won't be a difficult product for us. It probably for most people would be a dealer install, but it's something we will have to do after the fact. Like I said, trying our best to be done engineering. We'll never stop testing, we'll never stop designing, but for what we have on this car, we're trying to get as much done as we can. I think I have answered everybody, not in writing, but over the internet. And I appreciate your time, and I wish you a happy 4th. I will tell you something I thought of. I've kind of been told over the years I'm the jack of all trades, maybe master of none, maybe one. And a lot of our customers today are going to the river. They're done playing in the desert. And that's unfortunately takes some weight off our shoulders on some delivery schedule. But living up here in Utah, the access to still play this time of year and the type of stuff we get to do has been pretty impressive. So whatever happened with our climate this summer, we're getting a ton of rain, and that rain is creating an amazing riding experience, UTV, motorcycle, mountain bike. I've just got to share that with some friends in the last couple of weeks who came to visit, and they actually said to me, Todd, you probably need to look at doing rides and getting people up into where you live from these hotter temperatures to these cooler areas. So I'm looking into trying to build like a 3 or 4 day experience that some of our customers who the mountain moto ride single track, it is not easy moto single track. So if you don't have a advanced level of moto, but trying to do something as a thank you and actually get to spend more time with our customers. So I'm going to work on that. If there's people who have vacation time and want to get out, you'll get to see some of these opportunities that I'm going to try to put together to just interact more with our customer base and show you what type of access to the trails and the future opportunities that Robbie and I want to do with these ride with Robbies and ride with Todds, these get out adventures that I think are critical to enjoying our customers and our customers enjoying our cars. So I'll be sharing more of that later, but I just want to thank you all. Have a great 4th of July. And if you are someone of the skill set that you want to get out and play, be it in a UTV, mountain bike, or motorbike, please hit us up through Facebook, and we'll let you know what we have planned. But thanks, and you guys have a great day.